Okay, hey guys, so we're setting up an interview setup in the gym today. Now this isn't for a client, this is just a test to play around with the equipment and test out the lighting. I'm pretty much gonna take you through my process of setting up an interview, my thought process, the equipment I'm using. So we're setting up the A camera right now, which is the A7S III. Got the Shinobi 5-inch monitor. Setting up the B camera, which is usually the A7IV, but I'm using the A7 III as I'm filming on the A7IV right now. Setting up the lighting, we're setting up the Godox softbox. Really good softbox as it's double diffused, which means it's got 2 layers of diffusion in there. Now here's the UL150 Godox light. Really good light, no fans, which means it's dead silent, internally cooled. I got 2 of these, really good lights. Adding on the grid, just to focus the light better, instead of it spreading out to the background. The grid will just help the light focus on the subject. This is a hack because if you haven't got a PowerPoint right near you, you can bring the PowerPoint to you. I'm just thinking, should I use that light or should I use, because I don't need it very bright, so I could possibly use the small one and see how that looks. Get the rim light set up. We'll use the Amaran 60X as the key light since we can adjust the color temperature and match the gym ambient lighting. That's what I need. It's a small light, but it's pretty powerful. We'll get the softbox up on this. We'll see how it looks. We might have to use the other softbox, but we'll try this. I'd rather not set up another softbox if I don't have to. Always bringing this thing to shoots from now on. So handy just being able to move the PowerPoints to where I am. We're gonna have it nice and high on a 45-degree angle pointing down. Create that nice draw line separation. We'll change the color temperature to match the gym, which is 5100. I've got the light connected on my phone, which I can turn on and off from here. Okay, so I'm bringing the lighting up until I see zebras on his face. So, about here looks nice, 50%. I'm gonna try and bring the light a little bit closer, right before it enters the frame. So where's the frame? Right here, it's just out of frame. I need a microphone. Right, so we're gonna go with the NTG5 for audio. We're gonna boom that up above, right here. So then that screws on here. Right, so we got the phantom power for the microphone itself. What I'm doing with the microphone is it's gonna record into the Wireless Pro microphones, and then the phantom power box is gonna power it. So we got NTG5 to phantom power to Wireless Pro. And then I'm just gonna use some gaffer tape to tape it all up. Now this setup with the phantom power is really cool because it makes it pretty much wireless. You got everything at the end of the boom pole. You don't need to run cords down the entire stand. So we got audio, we got 2 cameras, we got light. I want to add some more light. Use the light bar as some background accent light. All right, we'll have a look in the frame and see what could be lit up more. Maybe the ironhouse sign. So it's gonna add a bit of background light. It's app controlled, so we can control it here. Here we go. So I'm missing 1 cord for this that I needed, so we're not gonna use this. Usually for an interview, I might use this to fill up the background, but because I'm missing the cord, we're not gonna use that. We'll see what's brighter between these 2. All right, so clearly this one. You can use this to shine some lights on them plates. As you can see, so we're just gonna have it on a little bit, not too intense. We got this light up here, just lighting up this sign a bit, just to add a bit more detail to the background so the background doesn't fall into too much darkness. Only got that on like 30-something%. We've got a hair light up here. I'll get Luke, you sit down. The hair light makes a huge difference in separating the subject from the background. The main key light, right there. We might turn that down a little bit though, as it's a little bit bright. And then we've got audio up here, just pointing at his mouth. Now, all we have to do is look at the fill, see if we need any fill. We're gonna add a 5-in-1 reflector. I'm just gonna see how it looks. So we're gonna add the white side for a nice soft light, just to the shadow side of his face to see how that looks. And if we don't need it, then we won't use it, but it's good to see before and after to see if it improves the shot or not. Got this attachment here that we'll add on. Now obviously we can't go in the way of the B camera, so we're gonna try and move over this way, but not be in the shot. Okay, so here's the entire setup. So I've got A camera, A7S III. Here's the frame for that. Got that on the SmallRig AD100. We've got B camera, which would usually be this A7IV, but because I'm shooting on it right here, I'm just using the A7 III. So that's the B camera angle, which is slightly moved, but we'll put it back. On the 85mm lens. Got the C stand with the NTG5 microphone up here, powered by this phantom power box, and then plugged into the Wireless Pro microphones, recording 32-bit internal audio, and also being transmitted to the camera as well. Then we've got the main key light, which is the Amaran 60X. We're using the Amaran just because I wanted to match the white balance with the gym lights, which it's actually plenty bright enough for this setup. It's only on 35%, just because this is a dark gym. We've got a little light here. Didn't end up using this setup here as the person was in front of these plates, but it did actually help out by lighting up the pole in the background, so it still did something. Light here, which is shining on here to add some more background light. I'll show you what that looks like on and off. Adding a bit to the background, as long as it's not too distracting, it always adds to the video. You don't want the background to be lost in darkness. And then we've got the rim light up here, just the UL150, lighting up the back of him. It's only on 1%, so I'll turn that on and off and let you see that. And the rim light, even though it was at 1%, was still a bit too bright. I should have moved that back further. We've got a reflector here, just bouncing a little bit of this light back onto the shadow side. The reflector, don't think it was really necessary, but you can see how it feels in the face here. Depending on the look you're going for, this could be wanted, maybe not. Yeah, so if this was a real setup, I would have turned off that giant fan, which is causing all those shadows, because this is an actual gym and there were people training in the background. We kept that on. Also for the audio test, there were fans going in the gym, which caused a lot of background noise. Obviously, if it was a actual setup, we would have turned the fans off. We ended up coming with this frame, which I am very happy with. A few changes I have in mind is the rim light, I wish I had moved a bit further back. It's creating a lot of glare on the side of my face, as you can see, so I probably just would have moved that further back. But I'm really liking the outside glow around my shoulder. The key light, I think, is really good brightness. It looks very natural compared to the background. Now, if you turn off the light on that black wall back there, you can see that the light bar actually does do a big difference, and it looks so much better with that light on there. Also on the right side, as you can see that pole, if you turn that light on and off, you're seeing a big difference. It just adds that bit more detail to the background. Now, I probably would have also put a light on those plates there, them black plates. It looks a little bit too dark, I think, there. Yeah, so just looking at it on a bigger screen, I would have added some more light to those really dark areas. But yeah, that's why we do these tests, to, you know, play around with lighting, see what looks good, see where you can improve, note it down, and then when you do an actual interview setup, you have a lot more in mind, a lot more experience on what might look good. But overall, I'm really happy with this setup, how it looks. I think the lighting's really good. I probably, depending on the style of video, I probably would have removed the fill, created a bit more shadow on that left side of my face there. Now for camera setup, I'm shooting on the shadow side of my face, as you can see. So the key light is on the opposite side to where the camera is pointing. For the most cinematic results, you always want to shoot on the shadow side, with the shadow side of the face more in frame. It's going to add more depth and more of a 3D kind of feel to it. Now there are exceptions to this, but I find the most cinematic frames, you're going to usually want to shoot from the shadow side. Yeah, a big thing to keep in mind with these kind of setups is you don't want the background to be too dark compared to the subject. So here, the subject definitely pops enough from the background, but it's not overwhelming where it feels like they've got a giant spotlight on them. You know, it looks kind of natural. Because for my interview setups, I usually try and aim for the most natural look I can. I don't want to really feel like it's being lit up in a studio. I want it to feel like they're actually in that environment. And with the audio testing too, you're probably wondering why you can't just use wireless mics. I prefer the boom mic setup, as you can hear. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing the audio, testing the NTG5. Testing the RØDE Wireless Pro. Testing the NTG5. Testing the RØDE Wireless Pro. It's got a nicer sound to it. It sounds like you're actually in that environment. Instead of the wireless mics kind of make it feel like you're in a closet. When you go with the boom mic, it's gonna let in more of that surrounding ambient sound. Because you're filming it in a gym, you kind of want to feel like you're actually in that gym. You don't want to be talking into a wireless mic, and because the wireless mic's so close to your mouth, it kind of sounds like you're in a closet. it doesn't actually sound like you're in the gym, which it could be great for voiceovers and things like that. When you're in an actual environment and you want to feel like you're actually there, the shotgun mic setup just sounds so much more natural as you're hearing. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing the audio, testing the NTG5, testing the RØDE Wireless PRO. It is going to bring in some reverb from the gym, especially this kind of environment, because it's a very reverby gym. It's got metal roofs, not the most optimal environment, but usually for interview setups, you want 2 sources of audio, so you want a backup. So what I would normally do is run a lav mic under the shirt as the backup audio. So if anything happens to the boom mic, you have a backup source. All right, so I'm just going to quickly go over my process from like a top-down shot. So we're just going to do a little sketch here. Here we've got the laneway. Now the person's going to be right here. We've set up the key light to be right here. We've got the A camera, and then we've got the B camera around here. We've got those gym cages over this way. We've got a reflector. So we got the light from this bouncing off onto the person. We've got the audio. All right, for the background, we've got that wall, and we've got a little light bar here. So that's shining on the wall. And then we've got a little light somewhere in here, shining, just lighting up the poles. The hair light as well. All right, so this is roughly the whole setup. So the A camera's shooting slightly from the shadow side of the face, because shooting from the shadow side adds more depth. So if we got the light here, we got to shoot slightly from this way. If we got the light over this side, then we got to shoot from this side. And usually to pick which side you put the light, you want to find some kind of light source that's motivating it. So you want some kind of lights up on the ceiling here or here, and then that kind of tells your mind that it makes sense for the light to be coming that way. In the shot, I didn't really have much to work with, so I just picked. And then the B camera we want on the same side. So pretend there's a line down the middle. Lighting happens this side, cameras this side. So B camera is also on the shadow side, just a little bit more on an angle. And then the reflector is pretty much just to fill in some of the shadows. So if the shadows are a bit too harsh for the style you're going for, you can add the reflector, or you could possibly add a negative fill, which is just a black sheet, which will take light away instead of adding it, depending on the mood you're going for. Now the hair light, because I'm shooting from this way, it would have been in frame anyway here. So having it here makes sense. And then we've got the light lighting up this background over here. Just makes it pop a bit more instead of that background being lost in darkness. And same here, just a little light was originally going to go on the plates that were here, but the person was directly in front of the plates, so you didn't see those in the frame, but it did light up the pole here. And as you saw on the footage, it made a bit of a difference, which was better than not having it. Yeah, so if I had a bit more time, I probably would have put some more light on the plates back here, you know, done a little bit more work in the shadows over here. But yeah, that's the overall setup. So yeah, this is the final frame that I came with. Let me know your thoughts. This was just a quick test in my gym to play around with angles and lighting. Some setups where I haven't got a lot of time to set up if I'm by myself, I might just bring in the 60X with a softbox and that portable light bar as the hair light, and just keep it very simple. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments if you'll do anything differently with the setup. If you like the video or got any value out of it, please give it a like. I'm currently trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as my first milestone. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.